Hey everybody, my name is Jay. Welcome to an episode of the Tajiri Academy. Today we're going through the list of legendary restricted for Regulation G.
I'm Maurice Valentino, Tajiri. Run a lot of cool stuff around there. I don't do all the honoraries, but I'm here. I'm Maurice Valentino. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to jump in right after that. This is Tommy Layback Powers, TP, the man, the Green Ranger, and Tajiri. Everybody that knows I've been around, so, I know a thing or two about battling in Pokemon, so I'm here as well.
Deserve.
Scotty Plot, Tajiri, champion, done some things. I'm alright at battling, I think.
Very
said,
humble.
I think. I'm be humble, right? He want to say I'm the man, but
Yeah. We try to get on with the show because we all could have been there.
Alright, so we're starting off from Gen 1 going straight to Gen 9. We're going to go off with Mewtwo. What's everybody's view?
I think Scotty had said D, do not recommend, but I put C/B because I currently use it in a couple squads. And it has versatility, right? On paper, it's cool. On paper, Mewtwo is cool. It has versatility, high special attack, high speed. It can be defensive if it wants to. It can be attack mon if it wants to. It's super versatile. It's one of the first mons. It can deal KOs. Sometimes it can't even deal KOs with its high special attack though, which gets very weird. It only has a few range of spread moves. It's very flimsy. And it could do an Aura Sphere to knock out some of his opponents, but it relies on Terra not to get one shot by a sucker punch by freaking King Gambit. If it's not fast enough, it can't take an extreme speed from even Dragonite, Rayquaza. It can't take a goddamn hit from Zacian. If any Mon was fast in it and he got a clean hit, he's down in 1 or 2 hits. So it's niche if you want to pull off something fly. I get why it's do not recommend, but I'd say very niche at the highest. I will not give it a B, but you need to use it for a specific situation.
Starting, what's your take?
I think there's just too many strong ghost and dark types right now that outspeed it or can prioritize it. And it's just so exactly where you get to where it's very needed in Terrace. It does have a lot of range and ways you can go with it. It's just, I think, without Megas, I think it's getting outsped too easily.
What's your take, Tommy?
yeah. So I pretty much agree with Maurice because he's pretty much went over all of the possibilities, and I would definitely say he's very, very niche. For him to be Mewtwo, almost the height of legendaries, he's literally like lackluster. So I personally feel like Mewtwo needs a buff, but Mewtwo needs a team. Like, you have legendaries that can hold their own. He absolutely cannot. Like, you got to be plotting some kind of craziness for him to pop off. So I personally would say do not recommend. And like he said, at the very highest, I would put him as very niche. But since he's Mewtwo and we're going to put some respect on his name, I'm going to say C, very niche, because he can be used.
I'll say... I mean, I gave really good points, but my biggest issue with Mewtwo is there's 2 mons that do what he does way better than he does. And the whole issue with the ghost and dark types, Incineroar is on just about every team. Like, Mewtwo, the good thing about Mewtwo is its range of moves, has a lot of moves. So I'll agree with you all and consider very niche. You have to have like a very, very specific thing of what you're going to do with them. So let's start it off at niche and let's see where everything goes. What's our view on Lugia?
It's huge.
Just very niche as well as again, the psychic types. You don't have the good defensive secondary type. It's just very easy to double down into a Lugia. And it's very dependent on recovery.
I think I like how you put the not final form thing. I would put it a hot take. I love Lugia. I know he's the star of the movie 2000, and he goes to Song Has Restored My Strength. He has a lot of iconic stuff, and he's been an OG. He has multi-scale. I had to put him in do not recommend, unfortunately, because his counters, not just think about Incineroar, think about any sucker punches, think about freaking Miraidon up there, think about both Calrexes super affect them. God forbid someone uses a Shadow Sneak or Ice Shard, gets rid of that multi-scale, and he's a sit and duck without Terra. He's a sit and duck without Terra. You gotta use Terra to make sure all his weaknesses aren't, because a lot of his weaknesses are in VGC. I have not seen a Lugia in a VGC. I've seen a Mewtwo in VGC battle. I've not seen a Lugia.
I'd be honest, this this meta game is not great for Psychic type. Yeah, and Lugia just isn't doing the damage. Like you said, it takes too long.
And with me, I kind of feel like he's more useful than Mewtwo.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna put him in very niche / needs work support.
I don't know. I have to put it in a D. It's kind of 3-1 there. So
That's fine.
pretty good in a longer format, but in a shorter 4v4, I don't think it's the best.
Yeah, so we're basing this on VGCs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4v4s. Yeah.
Yeah, do not recommend then. Yeah.
But he's awesome. Yo, I got cooked by
This is
Lugia.
no hate to
Yeah.
Lugia. It's just this format isn't for him. That's all. So we gotta say. All right, moving on to Ho-Oh.
Man, I feel really disrespectful towards my childhood. Not gonna hold you, man. This is really. My younger self would hate me. This is terrible. I will put him in not final form.
Oh wow.
No, I'm saying this, dog. I'm thinking of Rock Splat and Tyranitar. Tyranitar has been a mainstay in VGC ever since like Reg C, and he's still a mainstay. We're just setting up, and it's a tough get around unless you have a very specific build. Ho-Oh, he gets hit by Kyogre. He gets hit by freaking Miraidon. He gets hit by freaking goddamn Urshifu. Urshifu gets that damn water on him. If you give a Pelipper and a freaking Urshifu water, it's taking out Mr. Rainbow Boy, you know? He's out of there, man. And I love him to death, but dude, it's like that meme where you put the shoulder over somebody, like you have to put your hand on his shoulder. Like, oh, I might have to sit this one. Yeah, man. Oh, God.
So I think we'll just go straight to do not recommend. Initially, the not final form, it's a joke category, but it's mainly for like, we have legendaries that, get something to, go up to their like real form.
Okay, my fault.
So everybody agree, do not recommend? Or
yeah,
we have claims again.
He's gonna be at the end or do not recommend. He's like,
damn. Oh my god, no.
All right, now we're on to Gen 3 Kyogre.
A lowest. It's a like
A.
Yeah, definitely say solid. He's an easy solid.
Yeah, easy solid.
I feel like
he has a balance of threat, bulk, and with the right stuff, speed. He can pretty much do whatever you need.
Right.
And he also can set terrain. So he has a lot of capabilities. He can do everything you need him to do minus physical attack.
Right.
If you go ahead.
And I think the only thing that's keeping it from going any higher really is that if you don't have Water Spout, you have to click Origin Pulse and it can miss. So, and
he has 3 big threats in VGC. Since he came on the scene, they're Raging Bolt, that Thunderclap is killer as a motherfucker, and Ice Beam will not one-shot it. Miraidon, and then also Rillaboom. Rillaboom is not even if that get that little grassy glide there, and it gets a critical, or if it just gets a strong, he's a big cook. And a lot of people, the moment they see a Rillaboom, they switch out. They switch out that Kyogre. So yeah,
you got to think Ogerpon's a thing too now.
Ogerpon, right.
I honestly lean towards the B. Like, it has a great ability. It has, decent, solid stats, very great high attack, special attack. But it's just, I think like there's a real gap between the S tiers and then like the A, B tier. I think like there's a couple Pokemon that's in like that A tier that I think is above like a Kyogre or like a Groudon. So that's where I lean.
I will say too, like it is solid, but it does need that support where like it needs the speed control or it needs the redirection for like its bigger threats, because those bigger threats are almost on every other team. So I'm thinking B for the support too. I think that's a 2 against 2. What's the final verdict?
I want to give it an A still.
Yeah, me too, because this is the thing I've seen multiple times where literally Kyogre ruins whole teams by himself.
Real shit. I told somebody the other day, look, you don't need to do much. Just a Tailwind and Water Spout, call it a day. Sometimes you're cooked.
So I don't know. Me personally, I'm still going to stay at solid because I don't necessarily think he needs work. Usually when somebody falters with Kyogre, that's because they misplayed or misread.
All right, that's fair. We'll go with solid and let's see how we fill out and see if he stays there.
All I gotta say is one thing, and that's Miraidon is like 90% of usage right now, and that's a hard block on Kyogre.
Go to Groudon.
Yeah, let's go to Groudon. What's
It's tough. I'm gonna put Groudon as needs a little work. Groudon is incredible. Why don't I put him the same thing as because he is his. I think Kyogre is faster. Correct me if I'm wrong. Groudon could be
Yeah.
a little slow. He's a great setter, but then you think about Koraidon. Koraidon's a faster setter. Koraidon can boost and hurt. Sometimes you need a little bit of neat stuff with Groudon, whether you do a trick room or he can take a lot of hits. He can take a shit ton of hits, right? He needs to do his heat crash. He can do his precipitate blades. They have the same speed. Yeah, but people build him bulky for the most part, and he's very good. He's very good. But if we didn't have Koraidon, I would put him in A. But I think he needs a little bit because he has a lot of threats. If you switch out a Pelipper and then you have your Urshifu, he's done. You can still grassy glide him. It can take off a chunk of health. If you got an Ogerpon, right? Whether Ogerpon's fighting him or fighting next to him, Ogerpon can be a check for him. He has a few checks. He can take a shit ton of hits, but I haven't seen anybody win a tournament or win something big with Groudon and then you got Glacial Lance too.
Yeah.
If a Trick Room goes up, he's not slower than Calyrex. Calyrex, that Glacial Lance will kill him. I've seen it. It'll take out about a good 75% of his health, even though it's a physical versus defense. Like his speed and kind of the way he's set up in VGC meta is the only thing that prevents him from putting him in Kyogre for me, personally.
Yeah, and I just wanted to tap in on that. Like, they are similar, but he's like the weaker little brother because this is the thing. His strongest move is not that reliable. So it's almost like if Kyogre was forced to use I'm forgetting the moves, but his main it's like he was forced to use Origin Pulse. People would not use Kyogre as much if Origin Pulse was his only or his main move because people know it's not that reliable. Like, he's known for his bulk, he's not known for his ability to just wipe whole teams. And I feel like that's where he falls short of A. I personally don't get scared when I see a Kyogre, but when Groudon. I don't get scared when I see a Groudon. Groudon relies more on his team than Kyogre do because a lot of the times you will see Groudon set up next to someone that's going to benefit him more often than not. And in a 4v4 situation, I just feel like Kyogre needs to get set up. But if he hits all of his first attacks, he's pretty good, but it's just been really, really unreliable when he uses his strongest move. So I know I talked a lot about that, but I personally never found him useful.
Man, because it was him. Go ahead.
What's your take, Scotty?
I can go with the B. Needs help, needs work. I think just Koraidon does everything he does, but better. And that's just as simple as it is.
Ray. Dude, no, this is disrespectful again. I'm sorry. Might have to go with D, yo. Might have to go with D. I was gonna put Nicho.
I was gonna say Niche as well.
Yeah, me too.
But that Calyrex and the ice types, like, even with the new shiny Rayquaza, that shit look hard. If you get an ice shard on this dude, right? If you do Chien Pao ice spinner on him, right?
Yeah, Chien Pao is definitely getting them out of there. And that's a freaking Reg F, like Reg C type shit. And I'm just like, I'm looking at if a Trick Room comes apart, if he ever faces, I don't even care if he's Terra. If he's a normal Terra, Fire Terra, if he faces Ice Calyrex, he's cooked. Yeah, he doesn't have the defense, even if he is in a resisted Terra type. He's
right. There's a lot of ice types, and mind you, that dude, even though it's just a niche thing as well, but yo won a whole regionals with a Choice Specs Articuno. You feel me? If you ever have he runs into a Kendall Ford, or he runs into any ice team that has any ice mons or ice moves, fuck it, even a Tinkaton that has ice hammer, right? It's like, if he's not faster than it, he could hit hard. He used a what's that move? Even his move, like we talk about these main moves that Tom, the precipitate blade, Dragon Ascent, it lowers its defense and stuff like that, and it's just like, damn, bro, like, if I use him like niche wise with extreme speed and Chien Pao, maybe a C, right? But I'm just thinking, like, I'm tired of him dying, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, if I use an extreme speed normal Terra, I was like, okay, you can substitute for Dragonite, you can do good. But I have yet to see him be like, oh, Rayquaza's on the field. Everybody get out the way. He has airlock, right? It don't do it. It don't do it for me no more. You know.
All right, what does everybody else say?
I would say they're very niche because, like, sun is very prevalent with all the photosynthesis. I think it can be kind of a lock depending on how you build him. If you're not building him, if you build him more defensively
Yeah.
and kind of like really, switch go into that terror heavy and just, I can see a niche spot for him.
Yeah.
But he's really, at that point where it's like, if you're doing all that, you're not getting the damage out of him that you need to, as you're restricted.
Yeah, I feel that he also is very niche and like you have to have him for a very specific thing. And I mean, it's good for like cleaning up at the end, like have it in the back, just extreme speed, everything when their HP is low. But like you mentioned, it's very specific.
Yeah, he usually he can get maybe 1 or 2 Pokemon out before he goes because he does hit hard. But a lot of the times, he will not make it to the end of the game. He's usually out quick. When he gets there, he gets the job done and he passes out. He's like a fish fly. He only has one goal to get what he has to get done and die.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I would say definitely niche.
Yeah. Okay. Let's speed round these next sets of mon. What's our take on the new Dialga Palkia?
I'm sorry, I just have to put all 4 of them. This is crazy, but they're not bad. They're not awful, and they are pretty good at putting the right situation. The Trick Room, all of them. People use them for Trick Room and bulk for the most part. I'm not gonna say people are creative, but it's really Trick Room and bulk and special attack. I put them all in each. Maybe need support, but for me, I'll just do all my 4. Look,
go ahead.
I put the Origin Dialga a little bit higher than the other 3, but the other 3 I think are what I put in do not recommend.
Yeah. So like I specifically put like the Palkia in do not recommend because we're not in Dynamax anymore. Like he has his 2-stab moves can miss. And they're single target.
You mean Hydro Pump and Station Ring?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's tough. All right, dog. Sign the times.
The Palkias, I think they're a bit better. They're Steel Dragon. It has a lot of resist. Like you said, it's very specific Trick Room stuff. This one is a bit faster and hits harder. I put it, above the rest of these. It also has telepathy where it can pair with the what's the bear?
Ursaluna.
Ursaluna. But I can't say any higher than this. I don't know. I might.
Yeah, I would agree
too, though.
Sorry, boys. I ain't gonna hold you. I'll put the Giratina and them. I'll put them in do not recommend because I'm not just talking about. I know I keep going on the horses. But Kyogre can clip this joint. Dragapult can clip this joint. Fucking Incineroar can clip this joint. Don't even get me started on Fluttermane. They get one little dazzling gleam, and the devil is getting taken out. You might as well start a fucking Marvin Sapp song for all the goddamn praise of beating the devil. You feel me?
Right.
This
thing, you mentioned Dragapult. Dragapult is the better dragon ghost type.
Ghost. Sad. To me.
All right. Everybody's in agreement on this, or is there any takes against that?
No complaints.
All right, the Gen 5 one. Reshiram?
I'll give this. They have the thing of, oh shit, it's a Reshiram. It can one-shot me. And Zekrom too, even though I haven't seen as much. If those 2 ever get the right setup, they're good. I've used them on teams. Sometimes they're a little flaky. They can't take a hit. Sometimes they can take a hit. I definitely wouldn't put them in I would give all 4, except Kyurem. To that the little one, the 5th one.
Yeah.
I put that in, not Final Form is fucking hilarious. No, counts for that. Finally, we got one. I put all 4 of them need support because they have one shot when they get in the sun, or they get a slight boost of a helping hand, or if they Terra, they can really get the cooking. And I've seen them in 6v6s, 4v4s. They don't all die to Flutter, if they can clip a Zacian under the right conditions, like if they can take a close combat from Zacian, which I've seen them do, at least like Reshiram and Zekrom, they can just one-shot it. So I put them in need support. They're good. I've seen the light.
What's everybody else's take?
I had them as the lowest ranked out of all the restricted, just personally.
I think they're pretty niche. This one though, I think could be good with Snow. And also because it's a special attacker, so it could get, like, you could do Snow and Assault Vest, make it bulkier. spam blizzards, and it has like a range of
Mm-hmm.
other moves.
Mm-hmm.
But these two are very susceptible to intimidate. You could just intimidate cycle on them. You could put the clear amulet on them, but then I feel like you'll be missing out on one of their better moves, which is like scale shot. But
Mm-hmm.
they're also like electric dragon, which we have two better electric dragons. So I think these are more like niche in my opinion. Reshiram, I do agree, is pretty good, but it needs, the support and work. You could make it bulkier, do trick room stuff, or a little faster tailwind stuff. They do the damage, but these ones, like I said, very susceptible to intimidate.
I just think if you're leaning on you're restricted as just a damage dealer, I think it's too far back
Mm-hmm.
to me. Curum, I think, is above the white Curum is above all three of them, the other three. But if you're leaning on your restricted as just a damage dealer, there's other ones that can deal damage.
All right. So
So are we gonna go niche?
yeah, I think they're pretty niche.
So niche and then solid. I mean, a niche and then B for the ice one,
Yeah,
the white.
yeah, above Mewtwo.
I
It's above
definitely would
Mewtwo.
put them above Mewtwo.
Sorry,
They're
man.
above,
Sorry, Mewtwo.
they're above. I think they're above Dialga too, because this.
I don't know. I feel like Mewtwo is at the end. I don't know. I still put respect on his name earlier, but now looking at Ray, I feel like Ray is more useful than Mewtwo.
He actually is. I'm really sorry too. Mewtwo is a triple OG, so I'm really sorry about this, man. Like, but dang, bro, like it's not looking good right now, dog.
Nope.
These ones,
Yep.
their
Not
final
final
forms.
form. Definitely put
Don't
that
even look
there.
at these. Don't even look at
Automatically. Nobody's even gonna find like, hey, let me use this as a
Not even
real
for.
strategy to win.
Yeah, not even
Not even
for.
as a troll team. Not even, bro. Like, can't take a joke like that song. Take a joke.
Right.
It's all getting good. I ain't gonna hold you. These, I don't know, man. They're between C and D. I don't care for the. I'm talking about Sogaleo. Sogaleo at the very first one. I think very niche. I know the Action Barrage kills him. The freaking he does. He can go cool against a. You have to build him the right way, but against
Yeah.
Incineroar. Intimidate doesn't affect full metal body. So he's pretty all right on paper. Just no one's cooked with him. I've never seen nobody cook with him. If you see one, your mind goes, oh shit, he can just Sunsteel strike me or just hit me. You can't intimidate him. If he hits you, it's going to hurt. But I just haven't seen anybody use him. I don't have the best opinion. Now Lunala definitely says this is a hot take, but put it in B. It's expanding force and trick room capabilities, and then it's like it's shield, like yeah, basically it's like a multi-scale level ability. It can heal. I've just seen it cook. Moongeist Beam. I've seen a lot of VGC videos and I've played against teams with that. And this Lunala, man, I think he's even made it to like it made it to the North American and International conference. It killed in New Orleans last year. So I'll give it that, dude.
Which version of it?
I think the regular
I
Nala is better than
right.
the other one. I think the regular one's an A. Honestly, personally, I think it just has a lot going for it. Yeah, it's really weak to like a sucker punch, the knockoffs, the ghost type moves, but a normal tear on it is just devastating, or even a fairy tear.
Yeah. So I
It's like
think.
one of those things where it's like
Yeah.
very tear dependent, but when you put the tear on it, it's a level above everything else.
Right. I think the Solgaleo should go in niche. Like
Yeah.
it hasn't
Mhm.
really been explored. It could do stuff, but what?
I will say
It could do
Solgaleo's
what?
surprisingly faster than you would think.
Mhm.
Right.
I don't see it a lot, but I have ran it in Choice Scarf, and I think it could do a lot of work if somebody played with it a bit, where very niche it could come in.
Also, this Necrozma goes. I'll put it up for one of those ones though, because it's just the base Necrozma. It's not recommended. Lunala, it like you said, it is pretty
I
solid,
think B.
but it's gonna rely on a few things more. I think it should go like to the top of B.
Yeah, somewhere in B. I think somewhere in B would be good with Lunala.
The other Necrozma form.
I don't
These
see
ones are
people.
much
I'll say
slower than the other ones. They're decent
I,
for
I
trick room stuff, but
I tell you the need support. Someone just needs to use them. I can't tell you how many times Kendall and DeAndre and other people have used this little right here, and it's not just neat. But if he ever gets any type of support, I'm talking reflect the light screen plus with that what's it called, prism scale or something like that, bro.
yeah,
3/4 of a super effective damage. the weakness policy, the photon geyser he has access to. It's just he's disgusting, man. I've just never seen a legend, a fuse legend that I can't kill it the first shot, no matter what I do. It's almost on that Terapagos thing. Terapagos just makes it least effective, but the whole entire time, if you try to do it super effective, if it ever has a reflector light screen, if it ever buffs itself up with a bulk up, if it ever hits you like a truck with Sun Shield Strike, Photon Geyser, or whatever the fuck it wants to do, you're hurt. Fucking Fluttermane can't do much of it against it. What's his face can't do that. Zacian can't do much against it. You have a lot of Ubers that if you put this thing up against it, like, and you don't kill it the first time, you better pray you kill it the first time. Because if you don't kill it on that first hit, he has a weakness policy, or he ever has better speed than you, you're done. You're done. That's my opinion. He's yeah.
I've used it choice band on, and it counters Miraidon pretty well. It takes that hit, and it's able to one shot it. I'm not giving it more than a very niche because like it's at the end of the day it's very niche counter to Miraidon, but it's not like your go-to, but it can be very strong.
I ain't gonna hold you. At the very least, but I will put. Oh no, sorry, not final form. Sorry, these two going not final form. Hold up, hold on. Never that. The first, I ain't gonna hold you. This is a hot take. Big Zash, S A at the very least because it doesn't have any spread moves. Plus, Incineroar can check it, can fake out it, or especially Flare Blitz it, and it can't unless it's close combat, and then it can still lose to Thunderclap. It can still get hit by a Water Spout, but 9 times out of 10, everybody, if you have a Zacian on the team and it's faster, it has access to play rough for the Miraidon and Koraidon. It can Behemoth Blade you. He's just a threat. He's been a threat since last gen. They nerfed him, and even though they nerfed him, if you put him on the team and he's late game, you don't even have to be early game. But if you have him late game and he doesn't have an answer, if you don't give him an answer, he will just sweep the rest of your team. You're going to call it a day. I would put him in the first S because not just because I use him, but if you have Zacian and he one-shots Mewtwo, he makes Mewtwo look like a punk. He can one-shot Rayquaza. He can one-shot, if he gets a close combat off, he can one-shot some of the very niche people that we've set up. He can use Volt Tackle? Not Volt Tackle, sorry, Wild Charge. He's a douchebag, man. He has play rough, as I said. He just hurts. He hurts, he's fast. And if he's late game, then it's checkmate. I think, every team builds around him. Like, even if you have the horses will have to use Trick Room, especially Ice Rex. And if the other one isn't faster than him by investing all in the speed stat, that too will be cooked.
I think it's A tier. If we're putting Kyogre in A tier, I think it's an A tier. I think the nerf does hurt it, especially with the intimidates around. I think Incineroar just does a lot to it. Fake out.
You put an A too, Jamal?
It's an A because it has that issue with intimidate cycles, and its main moves are single target.
Yeah, that's
it
why
doesn't get its attack boost back when it switches out.
Right, they nerfed it.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me. So it really shines in the late game when it could just keep that attack if their Intimidator is dealt with, but it's not as good as it used to be, and I think that puts it down like a tier, in my opinion.
We can go on. We're almost done too.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you. It's either a C or a. It can go anywhere from B to B is being generous, but it can go between C and D because it does have Behemoth Bash. Its defense is pretty good. It has Body Press, and it's really, really, really beautifully tanky. But it's just lost its, as the kids say, it's just lost its aura. It used to be good when it first came, and with the wide guard, and you can't even get Kyogre cooking because it has wide guard. A lot of things can't do get cooking as wide guard. Behemoth Bash, it's faster than a lot of shit. It can use Body Press to deal with Incineroar. It can deal with a Duraludon. It can tank a lot. So I might put it in C or B. B at the highest being generous, but it just, I guess, Bros has lost its aura. It can definitely deal with the expanding forest and the size span, but then he just becomes a blockage thing. He doesn't become, of course, you're thinking of like more than S tier, like it can block and do all this stuff, but I don't know, man. He just doesn't. He used to be, when he first came on the scene, when people started realizing.
So I'd say the difference about it in this generation is it gets Body Press, and that is KOing a lot of stuff.
What's the KO?
Like just about anything that's not ghost. Like
Not
for the
one-shotting
ghost
them though. He's
types,
two-shotting most things, even
He's
with
two
that
shot.
defense boost. He's two-shotting
Yeah,
them.
that's what I'm trying to say. Tommy gets me, and I get you're right because like if he hits a Duraludon, if he hits a big threat from VGC, King Gambit is gone because that's 4 times, right? And Cineroar is still tanking that, unfortunately. And there's a lot of other steel types that will take that on one hit. I thought with that boost, that defensive boost and shit, with body press and high defense stat, okay, it's one shotting with body press. It doesn't. So it's like, baby boy, what's the what you doing? Like,
what you do with the dog?
what's the dog doing? You can't kill it even with that big defense boost. You're just as bad as Mewtwo. You're wasting your space. What are you doing?
But I feel like he do put up a decent threat a lot of the times because it's either he's going to be a really, really, really good support, while at the same
Mhm.
time, once you feel like he's support, he can also smack something to finish it at any point in time. Anything that
Right.
takes damage, he can smack it and finish it off. So not only is he a great support, but you know at any time if you take damage, he's finishing you off.
Right.
So we're between. I'll change my opinion. He's between. I think he might be B. That's a solid pick for B, in my opinion.
I think
Yeah,
yeah, I'd
we'll
say
say
the same
B.
thing with the
I was
B.
thinking B.
Yeah. Because it needs a bit support with its team, but body press heavy slam is pretty decent because it's so heavy compared to like regular mons, and it could wide guard like the top threats
Oh my god, and that wide guard shuts
from
down
using
almost
their like main
every
moves.
big threat.
And like just to put things in perspective, like its defense without anything is 160, and with the
Mhm.
boost that's 240 with no stats on it.
My question.
Personally,
Go
sleep
ahead.
on him, and I feel bad because he was my like Sword and Shield. I always pick Shield. Like I always loved Zamazenta, but they did him dirty
Yeah, they did him
because
dirty in Gen 8.
Zacian just ran away with everything, and even Zacian is able to beat him. And I feel like that's not right for the two that's supposed to be equal to not be equal. And to be honest, if it was them two going against each other, his shield can't hold up to Zacian. But I've also learned that sleeping on him is not a good thing because I've lost quite a few games that he was on because I didn't think he was as much of a threat as he was. So that's why, from my experience, I'm putting him as solid because right when you think he's one thing, he'll do something different. Right when you think he's just support, he'll smack you and finish you off. So he's there eyeballing when you take damage. Once you take damage, he's like, okay, well, you don't think I'm a threat. Watch this. Wow, you're gone.
I
So
think they have a
initially,
decent matchup against each other. I think they're pretty like balanced against each other now. Body press
now,
at the
yeah,
most is
now,
doing like
but before,
70%. Sacred Sword from Zacian is just doing 62% at the most.
when they first came out, though, it was Zacian easily.
Like your overmost have to have that power to cover for it. So
Yeah, I think it needs that work. So let's go ahead, let's leave it in the B. I think it might be. It has won like a few. It won like a few regionals last time we had Reg G, and it's been winning online tournaments. So I think I'll put it above Lunala and the rest of them. But I don't think it could. I don't think it's in the A.
No, I think it's solid B. I want him to be A because I like him, but the at the most he once he gets with the right team, he's a threat. But solo, not so much. But that's why I would say need work. But with the team, he can perform very very functionally. He can even throw the enemy off at times where you need it the most. So he can get in your head. He can definitely get in your head if you use him right.
I'll just go ahead and slot this back here too. So what about what is this? Alternatives.
man, he's annoying. I tell you, I've lost both BGC and freaking Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, but especially Sword and Shield. If he ever gets that recover, that black sludge, that thing, he hurts. He's not blocked by Intimidate. He can tank close to everything. I've tried to do expanding force on this dude. God forbid let him Terra, you know? Of course you have the Dragon Pulse and stuff like that, right? But Flutterman, he can't, the poison type affects the fucking fairies coming in and doing what they do. And then if he hits you with a flamethrower, he hits you with a Dynamax cannon, you know, all that really just hurts. And then he heals. And then he protects. I'd say like he's an underrated solid, but he can take an origin pulse, right? If he ever gets to no one's usually you never see this matchup of him facing the Groudon. You don't he can beat up Urshifu, he can beat up both Urshifus and he can tank their hits and hurt them really badly. It's just that no one's cooked with them as they should. But the ones that have, they have a high percent rage. That's my opinion about it because can't stand Eternatus because you have to work around an Eternatus every time. Yeah, my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't used him enough to actually, say he goes crazy, but I have fought against him before, and I actually agree that um I took longer to take him out than I expected. Let's just say that he caught me off guard by how much he actually can eat and how long he can stay on the field. So that gave me respect for him because now when I see him, I know that I have to potentially take him out as quick as I can because once he cooks, he cooks. But again,
Yeah.
he's situational because I feel like this generation I don't see him at all as much as I did last generation. But I feel like he still has all of those capabilities. So I would say C or B. Me personally, I'm thinking B, but if he falls into C, I can see it. But I think personally I would put him B.
Give him B. Yeah, change my.
All right, I'll go ahead with you guys' take. I think it has the same issues that the other dragons have. That there's better dragons there, and those other dragons are probably just gonna Oko this. But I mean, like you could rely on its Terra and then like work on its bulk from there, and it still does a lot of damage. So yeah, I could see it being in B.
I can also see it as C as well. Like I said, I haven't used it as much as just I know from my experience, I've had a hard time fighting them. So whether he's B or C, I would be fine with it. But it looks like C is just full.
I mean, but anyway, let's
back to.
hey. All right.
I do think with the expanding force and psychic types, it does kind of get a little countered, but low B, high C is definitely where it's at.
Yeah. Let's keep it at the low B then. Just like on the cusp, maybe might push it to see if we got space. All right, we're almost done with Gen 8. The horses.
This one's gonna be easy. We can speed run these ones because these ones are kind of self-planetary.
I ain't gonna hold.
Okay, but here's the thing: we could agree. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying the Ice Shadow Rider. I would put in A because he does need some time to cook
with the trick room. But then they have.
So that's why I would put him in A.
But guess what? They have engineered it. They have workshopped this motherfucker so motherfucking hard, bro. That he's gonna get that trick room off.
He came second in the World Championship.
In Worlds, bro. It just and Burns. Yes, you're correct. Burns are it, but we don't have motherfuckers doing Will-O-Wisp no more. You know, you may get that luck off, but we don't got the Will-O-Wisp no more.
Its main partner is the Rock Ogre Pawn, which has sturdy, so it'll take those 2 hits. Trick room is set up. It could also like kill the Incineroars with the Rock Ivy.
5 horsepower. Right.
I think from the gate it goes hard, but I can't put it at the top of S if we decide to put it at S.
I think Shadow's a step above, but I think it's still S.
Yeah. So let's Shadow definitely S.
Shadow's
right?
for sure S for sure.
Yeah, boy. You know
I say A.
I get that. I'll give S, bro. I can't.
Okay.
You can't because even I've tried to one shot it. I've tried to behemoth blade it. Still doesn't kill that dude. And I'm not even talking like even if it had a terror. I'm like, bro, how is a super effective shit don't kill you? And once I see Trick Room, like again, there's that meme of that dude putting the hand over your shoulder. Like you just gotta deal with it, you know?
Yeah, but a lot of the times the good players have wide guards. And now what are you gonna do?
High horsepower.
Power still hits hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because whatever Mon's doing high horsepower, he's like, oh, that's cute. High horsepower. He's like, it won't do that much damage. Ouch. Now you're 1 hit away from that killing day. Oh my lord. It's a douchebag, man.
I think Trick Room has become too relevant to being like a niche anymore.
Yeah.
So we're like counted against it. I think it's too easy to get a Trick Room off nowadays. I think it's there. You can't do nothing about it.
That's left would possibly not be S.
Koraidon.
Yeah.
Koraidon.
Yeah. So very reliant on Terra.
And not just that, but go back to it. Fluttermane, a person that it's so dumb because a Mon that benefits off his ability can kill it. That is a terrible situation to put yourself. You feel me? Like, okay, cool. I got the sun out. We're good. We killed the Kyogre setup. We killed the sun and stuff like that. You know, and then Brody just Dazzling Gleam, you're done. And if you haven't terrored and you're cooked, it's a one shot every time. Play love, shot every time. If it doesn't kill a fucking Sylveon, you're one shot. That's bad. That's not good. And I love Koraidon. In singles and a lot of situations, it can still cook. It's fast. Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, Collision Course, Drain Punch, U-Turn, Choice Scarf, Jamal, I faced yours. I had to work around that. It's hard. So, it's dope.
Yeah. It has issues and it has to work on those issues, I think, harder than the other S tier mons.
Yeah, so I feel like personally I agree with that, but I will also put the only other one out of the three I would say was Miraidon would be S, but I think the other two would be A.
I can agree with that.
You mean, so you look at me with this shit, sorry, put my phone.
Koraidon and Terapagos in A.
And Terapagos in A. I don't think Terapagos is S tier. I'm sorry. Terapagos needs
not yet, man. It's a little overhyped. He does. And you can take out or blizzard him, and then that terror shift happens. And I ain't gonna hold you. Damn, bro. He does A. Listen, he's only A because he's new and he's been in the meta team, right? But he works like a B, if we keep it real honest. Because if you don't terror him, what the fuck is he gonna do? Let's really be dead ass. Dead ass.
Like, of course, he can really, really, really hurts him.
Right. With fucking close combat, Zacian hurts him. If he doesn't have, if that terror shift is gone, and he doesn't get off 2 calm minds, and he doesn't terror, then we're looking at a B. Done. He's done.
I would say high B, low A.
High B, low A. It's A because he's the hot man right now, but because mind you, if he does get that 1 calm mind or a choice, a choice spec, and he uses that terror Starstorm, and he's supported, dog does good, but he still needs support. I've seen people shut down. Don't let Terapagos cook. If you don't let him cook, if you shut him down, if you use up the terror, and the bad part about him is that you know that he's going to be the terror when you put him on the team. So you can go with a 44, a 6v6. You know he's going to be the one terror. No one else is going to terror. That's not good. If everybody already knows the main gimmick of the game, that Mon's going to be the one that uses it. That's not good.
And you also have to build your team around him. And if he dies, the team is gone.
Yeah. And so they know to take out that main thing because that's the only terror that you got. If you are bringing Terapagos.
And his terror doesn't even lose his weakness, so.
I'll put him on. I'll put him at B, man. Sorry, this will not be a douche, but look, man.
I B, low A.
Zamazenta is better, especially now having the body press.
Yeah,
bro. Zamazenta's cooking.
And Zamazenta counters this thing like totally
easy.
Like,
complete counter.
People want to do Earth Power. What's that going to do? I use 1 Earth Power to Terapagos. Calm mind or not. I said it feels like that damn sound when you hit somebody with a toy hammer. You feel me? Like, what's that? Like that's what Terapagos does with Earth Power. Like we're not. What are we doing here?
You hear a squeak, the little marshmallow squeak.
Some marshmallow squeak when you hit a Zamazenta with Earth Power. Like, and that you would need a terror for it to even be cool. I'm like, hilarious.
I mean, I'm pretty content on this list. Any changes you all think?
People are going to be met. I think nostalgia. Then we're talking from VGT 4v4, so you've got to say it's from that standpoint because people are going to be mad about Mewtwo. People are going to be mad about the Terapagos. But sorry is sorry. You feel me? A lot of our OGs are washed, man. That's how life goes.
They are. It's like back in my day, Mewtwo used to be good.
Guess what, bro?
Mewtwo was untouchable.
He was untouchable. They had a whole thing on Pokemon Stadium. I was there. The North remembers, right? Pokemon Stadium, final boss. Yeah, 6v1, bro. He's not him. Sorry, he's not that guy anymore.
Right. He's like generations behind.
Man from top 10 to not mention it at all. Yeah.
Oh, I guess when we speak on Mewtwo, we got to play that small violin.
Yeah, bro. I think the only other ones that may be surprising may be the origin forms, but they haven't been used to their full potential, and no one's made them cook with it. And anybody who can prove us wrong has to use them effectively in the battle. And if you're using them, it's like, what you want to do? Trickery me? Do that. What's your
finishing? Usually what we use. Yeah, that's usually when I see them most is when they're being used as Trick Room, aka niche. So if anything, the origin form may potentially go to C at most, but nothing higher.
Yeah, no,
Like I just,
man.
it really is that point where it's like,
I hear it in the back.
if it's your only restricted, there's no use for it.
Yep,
Right.
that's a waste of a slot.
It is, in my opinion, too. I think what I want to see. I think some takeaways first. We can get proven wrong, but I think the B's and A's are like just the facts of what it is. But people can make the C's work, right? But
Yeah.
we have to see a
Hmm.
lot of creativity in BGC because these
Right.
are mons that if you put on team, you're still going to think of them as threats, but you're going to wonder how to kill them. And someone just has to get creative with these guys going forward if you want to see some change in the meta.
And that's the
So
only thing that gives them what they have, the creativity and the fact that they're not used that much to the point where when you see them, you go like, okay, what are they about to do? You know what they're
right.
about to do, but the other ones you were like, okay, if they're using this, what tricks do they have up their sleeves? Because you'll be like, okay, I know this is how they usually rock it, but they look a little bit too like the team setup looks different. So based on the team setup, you can get caught off guard initially by any of the niche mons because niche mons are usually somebody that had a little idea and want to execute that idea to the point where it'll be a one-time thing, but it'll mess you up that first time. But then after you know it, then you can counter it.
Right.
It
Worse
wasn't
for them if
BGC
they're
though.
in an open team format,
Right.
because then I know what you're doing.
What you're doing. I
Right.
see what you're doing. That's why I like you, Jamal. You be like, I know what you're doing.
And the funny part is, it's you look at that C, it's that the typing is like the big holdback to it too.
Yeah.
Dragons and psychics, it's like there's too many darks, fairies, ghost types. Also, like it just thinks like it's right there.
Mhm.
Better dragons. There's better dragons, strong fairies, better psychic types, better ghost types. It's you kind of just sit in a really awkward spot where there's too much that does better than you at what you're best at.
I feel like our list is pretty accurate to our group, personally.
Yeah. Well, I think since there's no changes, we're pretty solid on this list.
Yep.
I think that wraps it up,
This
guys.
has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you all for coming out. Is there any closing remarks you all have, or anything you want to say to people who are considering, getting back into battling or trying it out in this
Yep.
format?
If you think we're wrong, I'll say this as bold as possible. You think we're wrong? Prove us wrong. Prove it. Battle
Yep.
us. Pull up. Please prove us wrong if you think we're wrong.
And I also want to tell people, like, even without this list, be creative, don't give up, and find ways, like he said, to prove people wrong and to make things that's not usually a thing. Like, metas can change at all times. So I challenge people to make a new meta.
Right.
Create a meta that people will like notice and things that people haven't done yet. And I just say just battle. I just say use what we told you, find something one at a time and build teams around these. So I would say pick one of these Pokemon and then find regular Pokemon that can be perfect accents to these restricteds. And I say learn restricteds and learn legendaries, but don't rely on them because they're just regular Pokemon that just so happen to be more famous.
That's it.
That's all
That's
it is.
it. That's it. That's it. And you can follow us on, our Facebook, the Jerry region. You can get into our region. You can get into our Discord. We can pull up. We can do VGC, or we can do 6v6. We love doing our 6v6s because we're going to be different. But you can see them in the long play and short play, what we're talking about. So,
Right.
hell yeah.
I'll make sure I put all the links in the description.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys once again for coming out. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Yay.
Y'all all have a great day. See y'all later.